My name is Aaron. I am a librarian for Christian County Library. Welcome to Haunted Library, Halloween book and movie suggestions. I will be talking about some of the digital options that are available through the library on Libby and Hoopla, as well as some items that we have in our physical collection that would be great for Halloween. The free Libby app is an easy way to get started with digital books and audiobooks, magazines, and other things from your public library. Christian County Library belongs to a consortium called Missouri Libraries to Go. So we share these titles available with other libraries in that group. Titles are shared, so they're not always instantly available. However, items can always be placed on hold if not available at the time of the search. You can download the Libby app on both Apple and Android devices with your library card number. If you're using a Kindle, the app is called Overdrive. You can also log into your account on a desktop computer at libbyapp.com. For the purposes of this program, that is what I'll be using. Some of the world's best classic horror literature is available all the time on Libby. For example, Bram Stoker's classic, Dracula, is a wonderful read, especially if all you know is the numerous adaptations. It's an epistolary novel, so it is told through a series of diaries and correspondence that lend the tale an especially eerie quality. Another classic, Frankenstein, or The Modern Prometheus by Mary Wollstonecraft Shelley, is available. I just finished reading that book aloud for another library program that can be listened to on the Christian County Library's YouTube site. It's also far more than the monster movie reputation that it may have. It's a deep and frightening look into what constitutes a monster, the importance of a parent-child relationship, the wonders and limitations of science, and man's relationship to nature. Also available is Robert Louis Stevenson's Meditation on Nature of Good and Evil, The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, as well as Henry James' classic ghost story, The Turn of the Screw. If you're looking for something a little bit more contemporary, Joe Hill's Horns is a frightening read. Hill is the son of Stephen King. Several of his works have been nominated for the Bram Stoker Award, one of the top prizes for authors of horror literature. Horns is a twisted, terrifying new novel of psychological and supernatural suspense. If zombies are more your cup of tea, and our current world is not already scary enough for you, you might enjoy World War Z. It is subtitled as an oral history of the zombie war, so it's told by the people who remember a time when humanity was nearly wiped out by a worldwide plague. A more gothic novel of horror is Susan Hill's The Woman in Black. It was written in 1983 and had a film adaptation starring Daniel Radcliffe that was released a few years ago. Another novel of the late 20th century, American Psycho, by Bret Easton and Will Ellis, was published in 1991. The story is told in the first person by Patrick Bateman, a serial killer and investment banker in Manhattan. A 2019 Bram Stoker Award winner for Outstanding Novel is also available on Libby. The Cabin at the End of the World by Paul Tremblay. It follows a couple named Andrew and Eric and their adopted daughter, Wen, who are taking a vacation in a secluded cabin in New Hampshire. Their dwelling is invaded by four strangers named Redmond, Leonard, Sabrina, and Adrian, who take the cabin captive and tell them that to prevent the upcoming apocalypse, one of them must be killed by the others. It's definitely a thought-provoking and terrifying novel. Lastly, Stephen King's blockbuster sequel to his 1977 novel, The Shining, is also available on Libby in audiobook form. The book reached the first position on the New York Times bestseller list for print and ebook fiction combined, hardcover fiction, and ebook fiction. Dr. Sleep also won the 2013 Bram Stoker Award for Best Novel and was made into a successful film starring Ewan McGregor and was released just this last year. Another great library resource, Hoopla, has many titles that you can get in the Halloween spirit. Hoopla Digital partners with libraries across the United States and Canada to provide online and mobile access to ebooks, audiobooks, comics, music, movies, and TV. With Hoopla and a valid library card, patrons can borrow instantly, stream, and download content via Hoopla's mobile app or hoopladigital.com. Currently, Christian County Library allows 5 checkouts per month on Hoopla without having to wait for the item to become available. One frightening read available on Hoopla from the author I just mentioned, Paul Tremblay, is called A Head Full of Ghosts. It won the 2015 Bram Stoker Award for Best Novel. The plot involves an American family from Massachusetts who is under strain when their 14-year-old daughter, Marjorie Barrett, exhibits signs of mental illness. The story is told from the point of view of Marjorie's 8-year-old sister Meredith, Mary Barrett. However, the point of view also has another layer as Mary's story is flashbacks. She's a 23-year-old now and is telling her story to a writer named Rachel Neville. Themes include elements of Catholic exorcism and reality television exploitation. If you're looking for classic literature with an emphasis on the macabre, Edgar Allan Poe's Telltale Heart is a must. Another story that takes a new spin on classic characters is Gregory Maguire's Wicked. The basis for the hit Broadway musical Wicked is a wonderfully layered journey into the woman who would become the Wicked Witch of the West. Speaking of witches, the novelization of the perennial Halloween classic Hocus Pocus and a sequel to the events of the movie is also available on Hoopla. The sequel takes place 25 years after the events of the film. Max and Allison's 17-year-old daughter, Poppy, finds herself face-to-face with the Sanderson sisters in all their sinister glory. When Halloween celebrations don't quite go as planned, it's a race against time as Poppy and her friends fight to save her time and all of Salem from the witch's latest vile scheme. Ray Bradbury's foray into Halloween is well known with the classic Halloween Hree. Fewer people have likely read The October Country. It's a 1955 collection of 19 macabre short stories that would be great to read this month, also on Hoopla. Hoopla has also a great deal of movies available that will get you ready for Halloween. The original horror classic, Halloween, for example, is available, as are classics Night of the Living Dead and House on Haunted Hill. However, there are also more contemporary films available on Hoopla. Let the Right One In is a unique Swedish film that takes a new look at the old horror tropes of vampires. Hoopla also has music available that themes with the Halloween season. Danny Elfman's score for The Nightmare Before Christmas is always a festive listen that may be checked out. Other musicals include the original Broadway cast recordings and revival of Sweeney Todd, the Demon Barber of Fleet Street. This is a masterful and sweeping musical score from Stephen Sondheim that mixes opera with musical theater. Plot concerns a vengeful barber, played by Len Cariou, who slits his customers' throats, who are then baked into meat pies by the resourceful Mrs. Lovett, played by Angela Lansbury at her best. Also available are the cast recordings of Little Shop of Horrors and The Phantom of the Opera. Aside from our online resources of Hoopla and Libby, the Christian County Library also offers, of course, our physical collection of books, audiobooks, and movies. To search for Halloween titles online, visit coolcat.org and select Christian County Library. I would suggest jumping on that as soon as possible, however, as many of these items will be checked out before Halloween. Haunted Nights, a Horror Writers Association anthology, is an excellent place to start. It includes 16 stories previously unpublished from authors ranging from Garth Nix to Pat Cadigan, all with a Halloween-inspired theme. Shirley Jackson's stories, such as A Haunting of Hill House or The Lottery, are also available. I would also recommend the new film about the horror writer Shirley Jackson titled Shirley. A book that I recently enjoyed was Daphne du Maurier's 1938 classic Rebecca. It's also available from the library, as are 2 film adaptations, including the original from Alfred Hitchcock. Rebecca is a Gothic mystery romance set in a mansion on the Cornish coast of England. It's an excellent choice if you're looking for a spooky read that is more about atmosphere and mystery, rather than a more straightforward horror story. A more contemporary horror story, The Hunger, by Alma Katsu, was a nominee for a top Bram Stoker Award recently. It's a retelling of the Donner Party story with a Walking Dead-style twist. That book is also available from the library. Additionally, Christian County Library has plenty of DVDs that would be perfect for Halloween to be checked out. The Shining and, of course, Psycho are 2 classics that we have. A more recent horror film, several from Jordan Peele, or a couple, including the critically acclaimed Get Out and Us, are available, as well as last year's bizarre folk horror film set in Sweden, Midsummer. Lastly, if you're looking for something a little more lighthearted for Halloween, you can't go far wrong with Mel Brooks' comedy Young Frankenstein. Who doesn't love Gene Wilder, Madeline Kahn, and a tap-dancing monster putting on the Ritz? Another resource that we have for finding spooky reads and other categories of book list suggestions is the Select Reads book list. You can access this by visiting our catalog at coolcat.org. Make sure you select Christian County, then look over here for the Select Reads book lists on the left side of the screen. That'll take you to this screen here. If you'll go to the top of the screen, select Book Lists. Here you'll see a variety of categories that have been compiled by librarians. Of interest to this program is the Spooky and Strange book list. Here you can find some more information about the titles listed, as well as check the availability of the books on this list. If these items aren't available for you right at Halloween, remember this is just the tip of the iceberg. Ask a librarian to recommend a book or movie. We can certainly find something for you if you'll just ask us. And also, don't forget to check out other virtual programs coming up from the library on Facebook and YouTube. You can also go to our library website and check our calendar of library events to find out what's happening with the Christian County Library. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to check out other virtual programs. Happy Halloween!